Welcome everybody back into another episode of Two Fat Guys in a Dream. Of course, I'm your host with the most, Truman the Steam Machine Steen, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Scott Steen. Scott, how are you doing?
I'm good, buddy. You sound low energy. You sound like you're dragging a little bit.
I'm tired. We went out to a football game in St. Louis. We went to the XFL game this weekend. We're recording this on Sunday night here. I also, I went out, we drank, so I didn't, and we got to bed late, so I only slept like 6 hours. I also, we ate crappier food, and I'm wondering if that's having an effect on me as well. Not to get, too deep into it immediately, but, I just wonder if maybe that's kind of what's going on here. Just a little.
Well, we'll talk about that. You're doing the Mediterranean diet. I assume you went to the Mediterranean part of St. Louis. Actually, they're known for their Italian food. That's on the Mediterranean, so
yeah,
probably not the kind you're supposed to be eating, though.
No, and I did have some St. Louis Italian fare. I had a toasted rav or two, maybe.
Okay.
So it was not a great trip Mediterranean diet wise, but not. I mean. Again, I don't think I ate as bad as I normally would on these trips, but I think that's part of it is with the Mediterranean diet. It's been nice. It's been easier to follow. It hasn't been like keto, and I'm not as stressed about it as keto because keto had the whole thing about ketosis. That was the big thing. You need to get into ketosis, and if you don't get into ketosis, then you're failing. It's going to be bad. What's the point? Blah, blah, blah. If you have a plate of pasta, it's over. You're out of ketosis. You now won't be back in ketosis for 4 days. You ruined it. But with this...
By the way, this week's episode brought to you by the Ketosis Foundation. Truman getting $1 every time he says the word ketosis.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But essentially, like with the Mediterranean diet, it is just a diet so that I don't feel like my body's going through a scientific process because of what I'm eating. It's just that I'm eliminating eating bad things. So... in a way, it's a double-edged sword. It's not as stressful as the keto. I'm not worried about having a plate of pasta. But on the other side of it is I'm not as worried about having a plate of pasta. And maybe that's the rigid structure for some people is what keeps them to a diet. And if you allow yourself too many cheat days are a good way to end up not doing a diet anymore. It's a good way for a diet to end, for you to kind of lose it. Yeah,
slippery slope.
Absolutely.
So you weighed in on Friday before your trip to Old St. Louis.
I did.
So those results will show up on next week's weigh-in. You want to start with you? You want to start with me? You had the better results than I did.
I did have some pretty good results. Again, talking about the Mediterranean diet, even switching from keto to Mediterranean. Nothing weird should have been going on. We talked here. I had a bad weekend last weekend. We talked about that. Weekends have really been a struggle for me because it's socially. I'm a social eater now at this point. I was social eater, social drinker for sure. But so I've got the feeling that when I go out with people, I'm like, well, I don't want to be too weird about what I'm eating, so I'll just eat whatever. But all that said, I remember a part of the show I said if I'm under 275 next week. Like, I'll take that as a win because I was having, a bad weekend or I had a bad start. I think I started this Monday off, and I think I was around 276, 277, which is honestly kind of insane for where I ended up because I had a good week. I had, I really hunkered in and I did really well, and I actually ended up at 271.2 by the end of the week this week, Scott.
Oh, that's outrageous. That's outrageously good.
Yes, so I lost 3.4 pounds this week.
When are we going to get some graphics? Do we not have graphics we can put up?
No, I got Excel. I got the Excel folder up here, or the Excel file up here. They're seeing it.
Or is it? Are they seeing it now?
Visually. Yeah, you're not seeing it. But visually, a little movie magic, they're seeing it up here. I actually added that. I think I started that last week when I started the Excel sheet, so that way we can put it up. But yeah, so I started at 281.5. I'm now down to 271.2. So that was 3.4 loss for the week, which is a 4.17% loss for the week. Brings my total losses to 10.3 pounds. I've officially crossed the 10-pound barrier, which is pretty big. Honestly, that's huge.
In 3 weeks, you better believe it.
In 3 weeks, yeah. So brings my total loss of my goal. Again, I'm trying to lose 81.5 pounds. It'd be nice to be at 200 again, to 12.64%. Pretty solid. Can't complain.
Yeah, wrong with that.
Especially to have a bad start to the week, but really hunkered down, really nailed it. Really felt like I did a good job, I still mostly staying away from soda as much as I can. And I think there's something to be said about I am working out pretty heavily. I will tell everybody that, I do a 5K as a warm up, and then I lift weights, and then sometimes I do a cool down mile. But the thing is that I feel like when I'm eating this healthier food, is that my body could have, I guess, always kind of done this. And obviously, as you lose more weight, these things become easier to do. But I also feel like I have more energy, And I think that leads to having better workouts, which leads to losing more weight, which then, you put better fuel back in. You're wanting to eat less because you're losing weight. You don't need as many calories to sustain the weight you're at, so you're not as hungry. It all piles together. And I think part of it is that I'm putting this very clean fuel into my body machine, and that is leading to better workouts, which is also leading to better weight loss. And I'm also not putting in really terrible things for me anymore. So that's all been a really good start to this show. This has really been so. And I always, I thought, I'm happy. I just like hit 10.3. I was like, oh shit, I don't even think I'm down 10 pounds already. And it didn't even feel like, I felt like it'd feel like a much bigger deal just because I've had spent like 3 months not changing what I was eating really, but just working out. And I'd just been spinning my wheels at like 281 or 283. So to hit 271, it's huge.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. The only downside. No, what were you saying?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say.
You've only been talking like 10 minutes.
I know. Yes. I said the only downside is that I was going to hope to be under 270 by the time I have to leave for work. I'm going out of town to work for about 3 weeks. You guys will see me recording from a hotel room essentially for these shows. But I was going out of town. I was going to hope to be under 270 by the time I leave for work. And then I thought by the time
for those of you that don't know, Truman's a male prostitute, and he's headed out for the Southern Baptist Convention. He's going to be there 3 weeks.
Right. So, I got to. Listen, they pay the most. I just if I'm quiet, they pay more. But
thank me with the New Testament.
Yes, but now I lost my train of thought. I was hoping to be under 270 by the time I left for that work trip, and I thought I was going to be leaving on Thursday. I am now leaving on Tuesday, so I don't think I'll be under 270 by that work trip because I was hoping to be under 270 by the time I leave, and then when I come back, be under 260 would be cool. But I guess we'll just hope to be under 270 by the time we record next week, and then under 260 by the time you guys see me back in this room here. So
there you go. All right. Well, that was my mistake. I asked you how your week went, so that's on me.
How was your week, Scott?
I'll tell you what. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I'm actually looking at my figures here. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I was pretty excited because weighed in at 326.1 last Friday.
Sure.
And that was another nice week for me. And by Saturday weigh-in, by Sunday weigh-in, I was down to 324.5, so I lost 1.6. Went to your house for the party. We knew that was going to be a challenge. Ate a lot of crap. Knew we were going to eat crap. Put 1.3 back on. However, after Monday, I taking it right back off again. So I was down to 324.5. And then inexplicably, over the next 2 days, despite eating my normal diet, gained 1.6 pounds.
Oh.
And I was able to drop 0.8 going into Friday for the Friday weigh-in. So I ended up being down 0.8 for the week. Yeah. So 6 days in, I was exactly where I started.
Okay.
So I went back and looked at my stuff, and I'd kind of gotten lazy as I'd been losing 3 pounds or better every week. I'd kind of gotten lazy with writing down all my food, estimating, a portion of chips or whatever. And so, yeah, just basically, it's like playing poker. You got to plug the holes in your game. You got to figure out where the holes are. Still getting steps in, still going up. Hit all my goals for steps and everything. So that's good. So yeah, I've just got to be more diligent about making sure I put my food in. If I don't have the same results this week, then if I don't have better results this week, I will probably knock the carbs back, like 20 a day from 80 to 90 down to 60 to 70. So
Do kind of a hard
we'll see what
reset,
happens.
a little bit of sorts.
Well, not necessarily a hard reset, but just dial it down a little bit. Just dial it down. And we talked about this before. Once you get older, it's more about diet when it comes to losing weight than it is to exercise. Now I'm sure if I was in, where I was, swinging a hammer or digging ditches or shit all day, it would make a difference. But the main thing once you get 45 plus, it skews over to diet. So that's what I'm working on. I'm still, like I said, and I'm still building up my stamina, getting steps in, and everything like that. So it's fine. 0.8 for the week. Not ideal, but still takes me to I don't know, whatever it is. What does it take me to?
You're down to 325.3 was the official weigh-in on Friday morning.
Right. Correct.
You are down oh wait, hold on. I just realized I gotta actually whoa. I gotta
Because I think I told you 0.1, and then I looked at it again and it was 0.8. So
yeah. All right, hold on, let me. Okay. You are at 325.3. You are down a total, or for the week, sorry, you're down 0.8 pounds. That's your week loss is 0.60%. Your overall loss is 5.29%, and your total weight loss is 7 pounds. So still doing pretty well.
Like I said, my goal is 3 to give me 2.
That's fair.
I shoot for 3, hoping I'll make 2. So that's totally fine. We talked about it before. 2 pounds a week is a nice, reasonable amount. It will allow you to lose over 100 pounds over the course of a year, and anyone should be happy with that.
Absolutely. You're still averaging over that 2-pound mark.
Do not use Biggest Loser or the shit you see on TikTok as your guide. Use 1.5 to 2 pounds a week and be happy with the results, and just notice how you're feeling better and you're heading in the right direction. So
absolutely. All these things were unrealistic. I mean, the Biggest Loser, I think they went back and examined the psychological effects that had on people, and also that a lot of the people ended up putting back on the weight after
almost everybody did.
Right.
I don't know that they put on the full amount, but it wasn't sustainable. I mean, they were eating about, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,200 calories a day and working out 3 or 4 hours a day.
Oh my God. I can't even.
It's no, no.
I mean, and just for record, I've had great success so far. This has been I'm off to a hot start. And you said they are eating 1,200 calories and working out 3 to 4 hours a day. For the record, those were for like 400-pound people, right? And
plus, yeah.
And the heavier you are,
I did not.
What?
I actually auditioned for Biggest Loser and was told I was what, Truman?
Not fat enough.
That is correct. The only time in my life not fat enough. I guess the only other time that would come into play is if there was like a standpipe with water rushing out of it and they needed somebody just to get in there and clog the hole. I'm sorry, skinny. Your fat ass isn't going to make it. We need a real porker.
But you're a little bigger.
That's the only 2 times I think ever in your life are going to hear it. Yep, you're just not fat enough.
Yeah. But so these people were like 400, 500 pounds. And, for the average person, your average daily caloric allowance is 2,000, right? That's the FDA recommended. And that's for somebody who's probably 180 pounds to stay the weight they are if they do 30 minutes of exercise. So these people are double or triple that size. So they could eat 4,000 to 5,000 calories and be still at a caloric deficit for that weight. It's not exactly that. It's probably actually like 3,000 to 4,000 calories and stay at their weight if they weren't working out. Not only are they working out for more than half an hour, they're working out for 4 hours, and they were working out and they were eating 1,200 calories. That just isn't sustainable. I
Oh,
am
and
what
they
they
were
were trying to get to, and I should still be eating 2,000 calories. And I'm even as we do this, I'm working out 1 hour and eating probably 16 to 2,000 calories, and I'm still losing 3 pounds. So it's just,
there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's the it's they had some I think they had people lose like 30 pounds in a week. Now, I went through a period, and you guys probably remember this, where I like about every 4 months, I think I had it like 4 times in a row, I got some kind of horrible intestinal bug where I had like diarrhea and I was puking. First time I got it, I lost 26 pounds in 5 days. Just because all the water was gone.
right,
So, you knew that wasn't gonna be sustainable.
right.
But I looked back over my weight losses. Every time I've been low, it's been after one of those times of being sick. So, luckily, knock, 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 that hasn't happened for a couple of years. It was a really weird thing.
Yeah,
I thought, like, something was going wrong. Talked to the doctor, like, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense that you get sick every 4 months. But yeah, like clockwork, it happened 4 times and then, yeah, stopped. So, whatever.
fair enough. Well,
Okay.
and not to get too far into your past medical history, you've had weird intestinal things before. Your gut health is
Well,
probably all sorts of weird stuff going on in there.
it is, and I take a probiotic every day.
Right.
I used to take an amateur biotic. I found I wasn't getting it done, but no,
Gotta
it's
move
no
on
big mystery.
professional.
I had diverticulitis, and I had it for so long that I built up scar tissue that ended up actually closing off part of my colon. So I had to have that part removed. And what is sometimes a very easy surgery, you can do it laparoscopically, recovery time of about a week, and you're back to work. That was not the case with me. I had to do a little more in-depth type surgery, and there were some infections and things. It was basically lost pretty much 2000 and was it 2000?
2012, right?
2000. So I pretty much lost uh, 2013.
Yeah. Right.
'Cause I remember it was right after the Mayan New Year, the Mayan December 21st,
Right.
2012. That
You
was
probably went
the
into the
world.
hospital. Yeah,
Christmas Eve. I can tell you.
Christmas of 2012, right? Would have been.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
2013. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2013 is just gone. I spent 6 months of it in the hospital, at home. Finally went back to work only because I ran out of time. Was in no way ready to go back to work. But
Right.
like you said, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Much better now. Haven't had any recurrence or anything like that. So
Right.
anyway,
But you still have
let's
interesting
talk about how
intestinal stuff. Sorry. There's all
yeah,
that.
let's talk
Sorry.
about how the med thing's going.
The
How the
meds.
Mediterranean. Yeah, is that something? Let's talk about our criteria. Number one, how's the cost?
The cost is, I would say, just your normal cost.
I was gonna
Um,
say it should be comparable to eating like regular food, right?
yeah,
You're not getting anything extra. You're just making some substitutions.
yeah, and I just don't eat. Well, again, all this is, I think, what I've realized, and I don't know if what this says about me. Uh, I'm not, again, referring to like TikTok or Twitter kind of stuff. I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a man's man. I'm not out here doing, eating steak every night. And hell, I didn't even really enjoy steak that much until I really become an adult. And I'll go get a good steak every now and again. Not to say that
Yeah.
the steaks I had growing up weren't good, but we
Well,
just,
we didn't eat a lot. We didn't eat a lot of steak.
no, we weren't a
We weren't.
steak family. We're a burger family.
Mhm.
It's a little
And
different.
I'm not a steak guy, so we didn't have it more often.
Right.
Mom liked steak, but not very often. She would eat it about 2 times a year. She'd really get the hankering for a steak, and I like prime rib.
Right.
So I could always avail myself of a nice medium rare prime rib. But yeah, we just weren't. I just never. The steak thing was always just too much for me. I don't need a big fucking steak, man.
Yeah.
Now
But
back in the days when we were eating red meat, I go to Red Lobster. Somebody has a like surf and turf or something, little 5 ounce fillet or something. I'll do that in a heartbeat. But
yeah.
yeah, these 24 the tomahawk and shit.
Yeah.
No, just no.
But I would
So
say
yeah,
a lot of my like meals and diet was centered around red meat. I ate, a lot of burgers. I eat a lot of, you know, kind of pork or steak burrito
sure.
kind of
Uh-huh.
thing. I always felt like and Americans in general, we eat a lot more red meat than anybody else in the world. For the record, that's normally like a once a week kind of thing everywhere else, and as Americans, we eat it. I don't know
Uh,
every day.
a lot a lot of parts of the world is kind of used as a flavor enhancer. It's just another ingredient. It's not the
Right.
star of the dish. It just goes in with your fried rice or your sauce or whatever, and it's just part of the milieu. It's not everything fucking revolves around this steak in the middle of your plate, and then you build out from there. So,
Right. And this is
was
and
now was there a steak point you were going to make in regards to the Mediterranean diet?
right, and that this is all around about to say that I think I centered around a lot of my diet around red meat, or a lot of my food identity around eating red meat, eating barbecue, eating steak. And now that I've cut it out, I don't miss it as much as I thought I would. It's not what I
Right.
crave. I'm not like, God, I wish I could have a steak. Or, oh man, I really miss having a burger. I don't. I can still eat chicken. Chicken is, very versatile. So I can eat chicken
Hmm.
a lot of ways. I still eat a little bit of cheese. I eat, you know, it's not too bad, and I just don't miss it as much. And it's better for me to not be eating this stuff, not be having these high cholesterol. We have a family history of high cholesterol. We don't have a family history of heart disease. We just have a family history of high cholesterol, which is odd,
Right.
but it doesn't affect heart health. But at the same time, no need to keep on having high cholesterol. So I've been trying to cut back in general on my red meat, and this has really made me, cut back on the red meat. Keto maybe cut out carbs in a lot of ways, and I realized I didn't miss carbs as much. And this has made me cut out a lot of red meat, and I don't miss red meat as much as I did. I also don't miss soda as much as I did. It's a lot of things that I thought this would make it impossible. If I can't have this thing, or if I can't have
Right.
that thing, if I can't have red meat, I can't have carbs, I can't have soda. No, nothing is nothing so far has truly made me miss anything. And
Hmm.
I still can go out with my friends and we can, oh, let's go watch the game at a bar. Okay, I'm just gonna have a salad, or I'm gonna have a couple of your chips. I'm not gonna have much.
Right.
It's just making those decisions. I thought would be a lot harder, but as I consistently do them, everything gets a little easier.
Yeah, there's a couple different schools of thought, but it's generally thought that somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 weeks for you to develop a habit, either good or bad.
Right.
So this is about the time where you should notice it getting easier. You don't miss that soda with a meal, or you don't miss that big burger. Or in the case of keto, you don't miss the bun as much.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't be in ketosis anymore. Cha-ching. So
There you go.
there's yeah, it's definitely as far as sustainability goes. Is this you think if you had to, would this be a diet? 'Cause I don't know. At the end of this, are you going to pick one?
Um.
And we use the term diet pretty loosely, but that's kind of fallen out of vogue here in the last decade or so,
Yeah.
and really for good reason, because a diet really sort of implies a temporary thing that you're using to fix a problem. It's like you have a wound, you put a Band-Aid on it, and the wound goes away, it heals. A diet really isn't like that. It's you've got a wound, and you've just pretty much got to treat it all the time, or it's going to become a problem for you. So
Right.
uh, next week I'll be sure to think of a less gross analogy than a festering wound, but it is something that, and it was what attracted me to my diet was the fact that I would think I could sustain it indefinitely. You
I
know,
and I've had those thoughts through this process before. I'm like, man, if I lose all this weight, I was like, can I go back to eating? I was like, I guess I can't go back to eating like I was eating. And I don't think that should ever. I think as a lot of people, they go on, oh, I'm going to go on a diet for 2 months so it fixes all my problems, and then I can go back to eating how I was eating. You can't, because the reason you were that weight is because you were eating that stuff. So
right?
it's hard to do these diets, and I know that my cravings are shifting. My overall worldview of food is shifting. Like, again, I don't feel like I need burgers that often. I've realized that chicken's probably a healthier alternative a lot of the time. Um,
Hmm.
like sides, I don't miss. I did get a side of fries at Whataburger because I was gonna get like a drink for like tea or like a diet soda, and I got the sandwich and I got the soda, and the sandwich and the soda were still more expensive than the meal. So I was like, I guess give me the fries then, so I can save $1.50. Like, this
All
is
right,
stupid, but so it's but like if I wouldn't have had those fries, I would have felt fine. And I stopped eating the sandwich with like a third or a fourth of it left because I was full and I didn't finish the fries. That's the hardest part for me a lot of the time is not finishing food.
I agree.
It's hard not to make a happy plate, man.
We weren't exactly, the clean plate club or I'll beat you with a belt, but
Right.
I think that we grew up with 3 siblings, and when you got a serving. If you were lucky, there might be seconds,
Right.
but you weren't leaving. You didn't get to be picky, and you didn't get to leave anything. So
No, I had
you didn't live with 3.
I had friends come over in high school, I think, or middle school one time. We were playing football in the backyard, and they're like, my mom was like, "Hey, do you guys want to stay for dinner?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And then mom was cooking dinner, and they said, "Oh, I think we're all right. I think we're gonna go home. We don't want to eat this." And mom's like, "Okay." They're like, and she's like, "Well, what do you do at home when your mom doesn't want to cook food?" And it's like, or doesn't want to, you don't want to eat the food your mom cooks. They're like, "Oh, like we save up our allowance, and then like when mom makes something we don't want to eat, we go out and get McDonald's. And we just walk over to the McDonald's, go get food." And I was like, and mom was like, "What? You do what's that now?" And I thought that's the closest I think I've seen her to hitting someone else's kids, I feel like. But that was just
Yeah, and I don't really have a problem with that.
no, and it's fine. It's not a big deal at the end of the day. But at the same time, it's like, weird. That's just like it's but so yeah, all that to be said that we didn't really have the room to be picky. We weren't it's not like we weren't allowed to be picky. But at the same time, it wasn't like there was another option. Like if we would have
Was it
not
was it
eaten dinner and been
what do
like,
you
"I'm gonna
mean?
go get McDonald's," it would have been like,
Yeah,
sit down
no.
and eat the food."
Oh, yeah, 100%. You can be as fucking picky as you want. There's just no plan B.
Right.
And you had 5 vultures ready to fucking swoop in.
Oh, sweet
I
dude,
don't think
send
I
me over
don't
that
I don't think
send me over that steak. Sweet, yeah.
uh, I don't think I want to eat this. And then there'd be like that cartoon cloud that you see when the fucking animals fight, and there's like you just see arms and forks, and the cloud goes away, and your fucking plate's empty.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Right.
You raise the green flag, and it's fucking on like Donkey Kong. So
Yeah. But
yeah,
I guess
go.
all that is that like with these diets, I'm realizing healthier food fills you up faster with less calories, and you aren't as hungry, and you don't feel the obligation to finish it
Yep.
and and just take it home. I think that's also nice about my workplace culture is that I bring leftovers a lot, and I eat the leftovers, and that's a lot of my lunch sometimes or whatever.
Or here's another option, and this is going to be sacrilegious to how you were brought up. Leave it there.
Yeah.
Don't bring it home.
Yeah.
Look, you paid the money for that meal. That meal filled you up. You have gotten value for the money you've spent. Let it go. And now that depends on what it is. If it's, like last night we had shrimp, we brought some shrimp home and everything. That's fine. But if
Right.
you got half an order of fries, fucking leave them. Congratulate yourself for not eating another half order of fries. Don't bring them home, even with an air fryer. They're never going to be as good as they were the first time. Just let that fantasy fucking go and leave your fries, pat yourself on the back all the way out. All
Yeah,
right?
don't stop. Let's in 2023. I know everybody says in 2023, can we stop doing this? In 2023, can we stop bringing fries home? Anything that's fried, if you're worried about, like I didn't get my money, eat it there then. Don't focus.
Listen,
Don't eat the stuff that you can bring home, but eat your fries or don't.
listen to me. You know who I'm talking to. There's somebody out there watching right now, and I'm talking to you. You're eating cold fucking fries when you get them home. Don't lie. You're like, maybe this time will be different. You reach into that bag, you eat the fry, and you're like, oh, it's still fucking terrible. Just like it's been for the last 40 years every time you've tried to eat a cold fry. I know you're doing it. Just stop it. Let it go.
Just let it
All
go.
right, Truman, we got a food item to talk about.
That's right. We do as we do these off weeks, we do have a fast food review, Scott. And because of St. Patrick's Day, we didn't do necessarily a fast food. We didn't do a new fast food item. We just did a let's call it significant, a timely fast food
Yeah,
item.
something that I had. Now that was one of my victories, by the way. We talked about the bad things we did. I had a victory on Monday, and I was rewarded by taking off because Sunday, like you said, was a shit day. We had the Oscar party; it was great. Had a lot of bad food.
Mhm.
Cool. Monday is your mom's yearly foray into the carnivorous world.
Okay.
She eats meat once a year. She loves the corned beef. She loves the Reuben with smoked corned beef at Hogjaw. Shout out Hogjaw. Sponsor money. Yeah, we're right there. And she likes to do it on St. Patrick's Day. As we learned last year on St. Patrick's Day, you got to be on the fucking, you got to make reservations and you got to order them in advance. We don't do any of that shit.
Right.
So mom said, okay, well, I'm off on Monday. I'll just go on Monday. So we did. We went on Monday, right after the bad day that we'd had over at your place.
Mm-hmm.
I was very proud of myself. I ordered the Reuben. Took all the bread off of it. Didn't eat any of the bread.
Ooh.
Ate about half the sandwich. I got fries because I got a combo with a diet soda. Probably ate a third of the fries and called it good. So that would be potential for me at a barbecue place to go seriously off the rails, to go ham on some barbecue, if you will. So I was proud of myself for that. So anyway, that ties into what we're talking about. We're talking about the corned beef Reuben from Arby's. By the way, Truman, we got the meats. No, we have the meats.
We have the meats. They have the meats.
All
Yes.
So this baby is 308 grams. For those of you that never sold weed, that's 11 ounces. So just so you know, that's an 11-ounce sandwich, including the bun. Clocks in with 680 calories. 280 of those calories are from fat, Truman. So a little bit of back of the napkin here. That's going to put you somewhere in the 40% range of your calories are going to be derived from fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Pretty close. A little under 40%. Yeah.
31 grams of fat.
Yep.
31 grams of fat. As with many of these fast food items we talk about, Truman, one sandwich more than your daily allowance of sodium. 2420 on the sodium.
Ooh.
What do we say it is? About 2,300 for about average person?
2,300, 2,200, somewhere in there, yeah.
Okay. Carbs, 62.
Ooh.
That was about what, 3 days on your keto diet.
I say not keto friendly. It's got double the carbs than it has than fat. Not where we like to have it.
Not a lot of fiber. Got 4 grams of fiber, 5 grams of sugar, and 37 grams of protein. So there is some protein in there. Is this something we could incorporate into our daily maintenance diet? Obviously, it's not going to be pretty much on any of our diets. Is this a?
It actually. I was gonna say it actually fits into the Mediterranean diet because I was like, oh, it's rye bread, and I was like, does rye bread fit? And I read an article, it's like rye bread is better than wheat bread for weight loss. I was like, oh, sweet. I was like, I can do this, and then I went, oh, it's corned beef. I'm stupid. You cannot have the corned beef on the Mediterranean.
And probably, if there's anything they could do to fuck up rye bread and make it unhealthy, I'm sure a fast food joint would do it.
Yes.
I would be a little suspicious going, oh, this is just like one of those freshly baked rye breads you get at the cool bakery. Probably not.
Although the way they normally do it is add a bunch of sugar, and it looks like there isn't a ton of sugar on here.
Oh, there's not a ton.
So that's not terrible. I would still probably, if in your daily maintenance, listen, make it maybe because Arby's splits the bread cuts the sandwich down the middle. So hear me out. Just take off the top halves of both those sandwiches, and then just squish them together. Then you've got mega sandwich, half the bread, and now we're talking. That's a sandwich right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of those things where you got to do that the cartoon mouth where you just have the hinge in your jaw where it just opens up and your mouth that down.
Exactly.
I guess we ought to come up with. I guess when we rate food or when we talk about food, we should come up with a rating system like never eat it all the time, or maybe like once a month. I would call this a once a month sandwich.
I would have to agree with you there. It's not sugary. I would say a lot of sugary things, like a shake, like we talked about. You could never. I don't think.
No.
But an item like this, so once a month, take some bread off. I would say take the bread off is also a good like. Oh yeah, you can have this item. Take the bread off. Like that's a
or size the bread down. If you got to have a sandwich, if it just doesn't play the same way. I get that, but like the kid said, either eat half a sandwich with no bread, or make a gigantic sandwich with your 2 halves.
Absolutely.
Either way,
yeah.
and that's
It's
cutting out a lot of your badness right there. A lot of your high carb stuff. Because the fat isn't necessarily off the chain,
no, and fat
or the
doesn't have to be
calories.
bad. Fat's not always the enemy.
Right in your 680 calories. While it's not ideal, it's not. You go to some of the places and you see, sandwiches that'll be 1,200, 1,300, things like that. So okay,
Yes, but
that's
your
doable.
saturated fats and your trans fats are typically bad, especially trans fats are especially bad. So
You don't
uh,
see many trans fat. They got a half gram of trans fat. You don't see that very often. So
I feel
anyway, have you
like
ever
we've moved away. I feel like trans fats really took a big hit for a little bit there, and I think you've seen a fair amount of. I see less and less trans fats nowadays.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
I mean, I guess.
Have you ever had one of these?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, you've eaten the corned beef sandwich?
We've eaten it on Grub Buds even. Yeah.
Okay. And do you like it? Is it good?
I like it. Yeah, I love Arby's, man. I'm the when every now and again, like every couple months on Twitter, people go, "Who's keeping Arby's in business?" Me. I'm keeping Arby's in business. This is the
I
face
like
of the man keeping Arby's in
uh,
business.
the chicken cordon bleu,
Oh,
favorite fast food sandwich of all time.
fair enough. I really
I'll,
like their gyro, which is sacrilegious, but honestly, it's
I'll
solid.
tell you, if I remember right, like the Ero, like 380 calories. I've had an Ero there on a diet before. The
Yeah,
turkey Ero is like 380 calories, maybe 20 grams of fat, stuff like that. Now, I was before obviously watching carbs.
right.
It was more when I was calorie counting and doing fat, but yeah, it's reasonably good. Now you can't start jamming on the mocha shakes and the tater cakes and all that shit because
Yes.
that's how you turn 500 calories into 2,000. But
Right.
anyway,
But Arby's does have a what they call the Market Fresh segment, which
uh
actually
huh,
has some
yeah,
good options there. That's where you find your gyros and your corned beef and
right.
your crispy your chicken wraps. Although they're both crispy, I wonder if you can get them grilled, and you're probably looking at a better situation. They've also got sliders, which aren't terrible for you. You know, you can get like they're like
Ham sliders and stuff.
yeah, they're like 200 or 300 calorie little things, and they're
Yeah.
like Arby's sandwiches. And you can get the roast beef sliders, 167 calories. Just get two of those, man, and get out there. That's fine.
All right. We ought to intersperse a particular item where we take a look at a particular place
Yeah,
and go through the menu and say, okay, is there anything here you could eat? My kids want to go to McDonald's. Is there anything at McDonald's I could eat? That kind of thing.
right.
So look
Yeah.
at that. All right, buddy. You got anything else?
Although on still talking about Arby's. Sorry, we can move on from Arby's. But on the bright side, they did get rid of. This is me finding a silver lining, not really a bright side, but they did get rid of the best fast food side in the entire U.S. that is very unhealthy. So they don't have potato cakes anymore. So
What?
that's
What?
yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
They quietly went into the night. They got rid of the potato cakes.
Oh, they're fucking dead to me.
Yeah, they got rid of the cinnamon raisin biscuits. They got rid of those in the morning too.
Hardee's. Yeah, that's a heartbreak.
Yeah, that and then the potato cakes. Hardee's and Arby's, tough times.
I don't know how we used to function, man. We'd go and have breakfast and get like a 6-pack of those
mhm.
and a big gigantic Dr. Pepper and I'd get a sandwich with like a double order of fucking potato rounds. I can't figure out how I got fat, Truman. I really can't.
Oh, I mean, hell, I get the
I do mystery. I guess it's probably a thyroid thing.
if I go to Hardee's, I still love the Monster Biscuit. That is an
Yeah,
incredible breakfast sandwich, man. And it
it
is
is.
1,000 calories because it is a homemade biscuit, egg, cheese, bacon, sausage, ham. It's awesome. And it's
Mhm.
so bad for you. But that would be like if I like if if it's a last meal kind of thing, they're like you get fast food breakfast from one thing. If it's my last meal, give me a large combo from Hardee's, Dr. Pepper, Monster Biscuit, big old thing of those potato rounds, man. Oh,
You have enough of those. Statistically speaking, one of those probably will be your last meal.
that's true. Yes, absolutely. So, but I don't do that anymore. Again, we're here
No,
to advocate, but don't go.
no, it's. I guess it's like going to AA and telling all the stories about when you hit rock bottom. You know,
Or
and then
it's not
my
even like
car
telling.
and killed the dog and
Well, but this is almost not even like hitting rock bottom. This is being like, yeah, going to AA and being like, yeah, I got drunk and it made me really good at talking to women. So I got to take home a couple girls. Yeah, that's what I feel like we're talking about right now with the Monster Biscuit. We're like, because we're not even like, I got all that and I ate it and it didn't even taste good and I felt bad.
Right.
No, man,
No, it's
I
delicious.
eat it. It tastes awesome. I use in a younger body. It does not. It used to not affect me nearly as much. Oh yeah, but
That's like, well, that's like Bill Hicks. Like, yeah, I used to do drugs and they were fine. And it came out okay. Like, yeah, it's
yeah,
obviously we're not advocating for any unhealthy behavior,
right.
but it's not always black or white. It's not always a binary choice.
You shouldn't have we still have, even though we understand that that was an unhealthy option. We still have to have a healthy relationship with food and looking back and saying those things did taste good, but it was not worth how good it tasted, and it's not.
Right. No,
It's not worth a 2,000 calories in the morning, which is the entire day's worth of calories to have a greasy meal from Hardee's.
when your mom and I first started living together and I wasn't on the road, she'd get up and go to work. I'd get up like early with her. I'd go to Hardee's and get that gigantic meal, the whatever. The my Frisco was mine, the Frisco with a double hash browns, large drink,
Uh huh.
2 cinnamon raisin biscuits. I'd eat it and go back to sleep. I swear to God. I'd take about a 2-hour nap.
Man,
So,
it's a mystery.
well, all right, it is a mystery. So I'm looking for better results this week. I know you're going to have some challenges having gone out of town, but truth be told, you're having really good success and you're following your diet about 80% of the time.
80% of the time. Yeah, weekends I'm not always sticking to it. I'm definitely cutting back on what my weekend used to normally be, but
Right. Right.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not
But you're still out
certainly
there
not
having
following
fun.
it to a T.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing. And I think that's encouraging for people to see because they think of diet and they think, oh my God, everything has to change. I can never eat any food I want again, blah, blah, blah.
no,
And here you are just kind of clunking along and you're losing where you at? How much you lost?
10 pounds, 10 pounds, 3 weeks.
So yeah, three and a third over the week. So over 3 weeks, and nothing wrong with that. Obviously, that's fantastic. So
That's right.
take heart. The easiest thing, the hardest thing to do is take the first step.
Absolutely.
And really, that's not true with a diet. The hardest thing to do is the second week,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or when you have that first day where you don't have the great results.
Yeah,
That's
you go up, and you're like, God, this diet isn't doing shit.
right. It's not. It's now exercise. Like sometimes doing it the first time is the hardest thing. A diet, fucking easy to go on. You can
Yeah,
sustain it for a day. I had a great fucking day, a great week. This is gonna, and then you're like, oh shit, I don't even know. Well, fuck it, I'm just gonna have that cinnamon roll. So
right.
anyway, take heart. I'm trying to do it for everybody that's my age when it is much more difficult and you think it's too late. Nothing you can do to change. I'm here to prove that wrong as well. So we've each got our submissions here, other than getting in health and getting healthy. So
Absolutely.
anyway. So next week, Truman, you'll be back. You'll be in an undisclosed location
Middle
in
of
a hotel,
nowhere. Middle of nowhere. Yeah.
and we'll talk about some of the challenges of eating on the road.
Yep.
When you're not able to cook for yourself and do meal prep, we'll talk about what that looks like. We'll reveal the next diet, and by the way, it has not been decided yet. So if you have any ideas for a sustainable 2-week diet. No super fads, no all grapefruit or the cabbage soup diet or none of that shit. But if you got some suggestions for the boy, drop them in the comment section as always, and let us comment. Drop us a comment. Let us know you're watching. We know we got some watchers out there. Tell us about your diet successes. You guys, anybody dieting along with us? If there is, let us know how you're doing. What else you got, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure to send your diet recommendations to us. You can send it to me. You can send it to him. Facebook, Twitter, in the comments below here on YouTube. Just any way that you guys want to give these suggestions would be great, especially for this upcoming week. Give me diets that are good on the road. Has anybody had success with diets that are easy to follow? I think at this point, we still haven't picked a diet. I'm leaning maybe towards intermittent fasting just because it's maybe the most reasonable thing because I'm not cutting anything out specifically.
Interesting. That's one of the ones I'm most anxious to see in action.
Yes. I've done some of the intermittent fasting. Like you're supposed to do a little bit with keto. You're supposed to kind of
Hmm.
follow a path. So I've done a little bit of it, but leaning into it more where I'd probably start off where I can only eat in the 8 hours, 7 hours, and 6 hours. You guys will see it whenever we get there, if that is next week, if it's in the future. But either way, guys, make sure just to give us recommendations. I love a great diet for the road. I'm wondering what could be the best from a hotel room. So
There you
I
go.
think that's it.
All right. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And we really appreciate you guys checking us out. Definitely share it. Tell us with your friends. The views have been going up here week by week, and we want to keep that growing. So tell everybody what we're doing. Feel free to share it on social media. Check myself out on Twitter at Steen Roller, STEEHN Roller. And Truman, I believe you're over there at Steen Machine on Twitter. And I know you've got some other things going.
Everywhere, always Steam Machine. Yes.
There you go.
And if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, if you want to we do this video form too. It goes on the YouTube Open Disaster. So Open Disaster Productions and your YouTube eventually also.
And of course, we talk about liking and subscribing. But if you're on one of those podcast platforms, don't forget to rate us and give us 5 stars. Drop us a comment, all that good stuff, because it makes a huge difference in the algorithm, my friend.
Yes, and we really do appreciate everybody's been watching, all the support. It's been really great. I've had people reach out to me and say, oh, like this is a really personal project. I really do like hearing what you guys are saying, and even if I'm not your weight or I'm not doing your diets, it is. I still resonate with things, and I think that means the world to me to hear. So
100%,
absolutely.
100%.
So
all right, buddy.
I think that's about it.
All
Again,
right.
we appreciate y'all for being here. We appreciate y'all for hanging out. We will see you guys next week with another great episode. Yeah, I think that's it. See you guys.
What's it called?
2 Fat Guys in a Dream.
There you go. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.